Hey, alright. Yesterday we did the problem set, and sorry, yesterday we did the lecture, and today we're going to be doing the problem set. So I've never done the problem set live before, at least not here on TikTok. So I'm just going to do that today. Alright. If you missed, if you missed the video we did yesterday, it's live on YouTube, so you can check it. Well, basically what we did was exception handling. I introduced you to try and accept, which tries this to try out something and accepts this to catch any error that may have been raised while you were running it. I introduced you to else, which is something you run when no exception was caught. There's finally, which is something that runs whether or not an exception was caught, and then there's raise, which allows you to raise an exception of your own, right? So let's just jump into the problem set. So the first one is well gauge. So these um three exceptions. Let's just create a folder for that. Everything is all the source codes are available on my well gauge. So it's going to be well gauge. Is this how you spell it? The py. Well gauges indicate often with fraction how just how much fuel is in a tank. For instance, 1/4 indicates that the tank is 25% full. 1/2 indicates that the tank is 50% full. 3/4 indicates that the tank is 75% full. In a file called file.py, implement a program that prompts the user for a fraction formatted as x and y, wherein each of x is an integer and then outputs as a percentage rounded to the nearest integer how much fuel is in the tank. If though 1% or less remains, outputs e instead in oh, if the x or y is not an integer, x is greater than y, or y is 0. Instead, prompt the user again. If not necessary, it's not necessary for y to be 4. Be sure to catch any exception like value error, zero division error. I just finished reading this whole thing and I'm lost. But let's just look at what they did here. So hi Adi. Alright, so if you have 4/4, it's a full tank. Okay, so it's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. So if we get 1 divided by 0 or 0 divided by 1, we should prompt the user again because that's an error. So let's do this. So let's take note of what we did yesterday and let's just duplicate that code and we'll now pick up from there. Yes. Alright, so if you remember, I said we'll throw in while true. So we want to try something. Let this try right now just receive an input. Let's just put it inside. Well, is equals to is an integer we want. Okay, we want x and y, so let's get the two inputs. Right, so should they receive the two inputs separately? Let me check. Okay, no, they're receiving a fraction. All right, so we're going to receive a string and we're going to split the string. I don't know if you remember. So we're going to say x. I hope I'm doing right now. It's not confusing. X and y is going to be equals to input. So we're going to ask for the fraction, and then we're going to split it. So if you want to split it, just dot split, and what we want to split it at. So in this case, since it's a fraction, we want to split it at the backslash. But before we split, let's strip it. So we remove any white spaces. So dot strip. All right. So that's basically it. Then we'll say x is going to be equals to int x. So I want to change it to numbers, and same for y, going to be equals to int y. All right. And let's call our except. Yeah, it's a string we're receiving from the user. So what I'm trying to do, or should I do it different? Is this one confusing you? I'm saying because we're getting a string from the user and we're splitting the string into two. So 'cause it's a fraction. So a fraction is going. Let me just comment it down here. So a fraction is supposed to be an integer divided by another integer. So what I'm now doing, there's this when you're formatting strings in Python, there's this stuff called split. So we'll split at a point. So I'm splitting at this backslash here. So which means I'm using, so when I split it, this tree is going to stand on its own, 7 is going to stand on its own also. But instead of now, because usually if you split, it's going to now push it into a list. But I'm now trying to just push the value as it's splitted into variables. So if I run, it's now going to push. Okay, let me just run the code now and show you. It's supposed to push. I can change it if this one is confusing you though. Okay, you understand? Right. Okay, so let's handle this except. I don't really, you can on your own. Remember I told you you can do run except for each individual error. But personally, um I don't I don't want to do that, honestly, because you can do that on your own though, but I'm just using except to just catch every single error, and I'll just prompt a generalized error message, which is kind of backtracking on why I said, since I said that is not really advisable. But let's just print an error code, or there's an error in your input. You just pass in except. You don't need to pass in anything after except. You, if you want to do it on your own, you can. So you can say if x if x is equals to okay, let's just run. If x is equals to 0, Let's change this from and to or y is equals to 0. We are going to just raise an exception. So, all right. What next? So I don't know. I want to believe that these inputs are the only inputs that it has said. Okay, that should be it. Because it said here, okay, it say it's not necessary for y to be 4. I don't really understand the form that they want us to work in. So they're telling us, okay, 4 gauge in the okay, we want to divide it, and we want to get a fraction. So how do we divide with fractions in Python again? Wow. Okay. And I don't think there's any other way I can work with it by importing this model. Because I want to assume that these are the only inputs that is received because these are the ones they prompted us for. So I don't know if I should just work strictly with these. If it's 1/4, if it's 1/2, that is either is 1/2 or it's 2/4. So this one falls under if it's 1/4 it's 25%, if it's 1/2 or 2/4 it's 50%, and if it's 3/4 it's 75%. Okay. Let's just quickly run and see all the inputs that they gave. So I'll just know what I'm trying to catch. If it's an invalid input, it's going to prompt them again. 1/4 is 25%, 1/2 is 50%, 3/4 75%, 4/4 is a full tank. So let's just work with all these inputs they gave. Let's not start importing any model and just making our code complex. Let's work with this exact input that they gave us. Okay. So if there's any error, it's going to prompt them and let them know that there's an error with their message, and then it's going to ask them again to it's going to ask them to pass in their statement again. So we want to raise an error. So now let's try and catch all those let's catch all those what do you call it? Let's catch all those methods that he gave us. So excluding cat and dog, because that cat and dog falls under except, because we when we try and turn it into an integer, it's going to raise an error. So we want to say the first one, if let me see it here. Okay, you know we don't even need to change it to an integer though. But we can just leave it as an integer style. We'll just use that to catch any error that is not a number. So we can say if it's 1/4, let's get that. So what we'll just do now, so just we'll just catch the error here at the integer. So we'll now assign a new value. Maybe we'll say let's say 4. 4 is going to be equals to, I think my network is starting to misbehave. Let me try and change it. Okay, oh no, let's just carry. We'll just okay. We'll say 4 is going to be equals to we'll change it to a string. So it's going to be equals to string x plus that backslash again plus string y. All right. So now we're not going to start running our conditionals. What did I just do? So if um right, if well is equals to, we're working as a string, so we're going to just include inside its inverted comma. So if for is equals to 1 over 4, we're going to print 24%. Sorry, 25%. Okay. Then um if it's 1 over 2, then it indicates that the tank is 50% full. So I'm just going to um else if well is equals to 1 over 2, and just for prevention methods, or 2 over 4, both of them is the same thing mathematically, is 50% full. So we're going to print 50%, and and 3 over 4 indicates that a tank is 75% full. 3 over 4, 75% full. So if well is equals to 3 over 4, 75% full, and okay, what they say, okay, um formatted as x or y, wherein x and y is an integer, then output as a percentage rounded to the nearest integer how much fuel is in the tank. If the 1% or less remains, output e instead of indicating that the tank is essentially empty, and if 99% or more remains, output f instead of indicating that the tank is essentially full. If though x or y is not an integer, x is greater than y or y is 0, instead prompt the user again. Okay, else is going to be completely empty, I guess. Okay, and now we are finished looping, but no matter what happens, it's still going to continue looping endlessly. So I want to raise an else statement. What is this? Where did this if come from? I still don't know where that if came from. 1 over 4, 1 over 2, 3 over 4, 4 over 4 else. Okay. Then after our escape, we're now going to raise an else statement just in case the program, just in case, like just so we can jump out of the program. So we're just going to break the loop. So we can save it, and let's just start running all these codes to find out. Hmm. Alright, so let's run without debugging. The first one is going to be we're going to test a string to see if it's going to catch this string error. So if we run cat divided by dog, it should prompt us again for another input. Okay, see? So your output said there's a problem with your input, and then it prompted us for another input. Then let's pass in 1 over 4 this time. 1 over 4 should give us 25. We have 1 over 2 should give us 50%. I don't understand. My God, L if is equals to 1 over 2 or 2 over 4, do this, print 50%. L if it's 3 over 4, print 75%. I don't understand. Let's try that again. I don't understand why it's giving me 50. Let's combine this code out first. Let me understand what is happening. So the 3 over 4 is falling under here somehow. Is equals to 2 over 4 print. We're printing 50%. Let's try the 3 over 4 and see if it's still going to give us the exact same error. Okay, and let's go for 4 over 4. Should give us an F. Hmm. I'm confused with my code. Where my code is asking me to print one. Let me comment this one out and see if I can catch it. I don't know why my code is having a mind of its own today. Okay, let's run it again. This time for 4/4. Oh, sorry. Okay, we should be able to catch 0/1. Okay, let me change my code here. I raised an error for 0/1. So it's only if y is equals to 0 that we're going to raise an error. So let's try and see if we can catch this 1/0 error, and also see if we can catch if we can get an empty for 0/1. Right. Okay, we didn't raise the error. Okay, let's move this code up here. Let's get the error. Let's get the error first. Let's move this up here before the program starts running. So it's going to catch the error, and then it's now going to start testing once the error has been caught. So this one should be better. So you'll be able to catch that um 1/0 error without actually giving us an output. So then 1/0, okay, and then we're going to do 0/1. All right. What other input did they give us? I think that's everything. So that's the code for this full gauge. We're done with it. Let me now jump into the next one. So that what's next? Okay, one of the most popular places to eat in Harvard Square is this place, which offers a menu of entrees per the dict below from the users, and like maybe saving it into a list or whatever we choose to save it into. We'll be using this one. Then we'll now use maybe the control. I was going to say control C, it's control Z, control D that you now use, and it's not going to uh, um um end the user from passing in input. I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. All right. So let's start this program. So we're going to copy this dictionary first. Let's just assign this dictionary into menu. Okay, sorry, let me get the name of the file first. Let's just use this name that it gave us here. Alright, so we're going to create a menu. It's going to be equal to this dictionary we're going to copy now. So the key is the name of the food and the value is the price of the key. Okay. Next, implement a program that enables the user to place an order, prompting them for items one per line until the user's inputs control D, which is commonly ending an R shared. Display the total cost of all the items imputed thus far, prefixed with a dollar sign, and formatting it to two decimal places. Treat the user's input case insensitively. Ignore all input that isn't an item, and assume every. Alright, so let's create let's create an empty list here that is going to be the user's order. Just going to be an empty list, and let's just leave it empty for now. Now we're going to do try. Okay, they even give us the prompt already here to catch the error. So this is it. To catch the error. So this is it. So we're going to use our while true because we want it to continue looping and getting input from the user. So it's going to be while true, and let's just pass this one for now. Okay. They say that we should assume that um say we should assume that is treated like this, like the first letter. Okay, let me see first. In the fact employ a program that enables users to after each item is displayed, display total cost as melted to two decimal places. I swear I just saw something. Fuck. I think I should turn on the light. Okay. So it says treat the user's input case insensitively. Ignore any input that isn't an item and assume that every item on the menu will be title case. So I mean every first letter of every single word present is going to turn it into is going to capitalize it. Right? Right? Then what we want to do because we want to save or we want to be able to keep track of all the users inputs, all the input that the user has made. So we want to maybe save it into this order list. So we'll run is going to keep looping continuously. Is we're not going to do try we're going to receive the item, we're going to remove all the white spaces, and then we're going to title all the case so that it's going to be a first letter, like the first word in every single thing is going to be capitalized because that's how our menu is. Then we want to now append it. So we're going to say um we're going to just append into our order list. All right. So after we finish receiving, we'll just be receiving inputs from the users. If they press enter, it's going to prompt them again for another input, and the program is not going to stop until until they have pressed Control D. So once they press Control D, we want to break out of the loop. So we're done receiving input from the users. Next thing we want to do according to the program, it says that if so we're now going to start looping through our list. So let's create another list. Oh no, let's just create another integer. Let's create an integer that we're going to be using to add, sorry, a float that we're going to be using to add all the inputs we're getting. Just say sum is equals to maybe 0.00. Okay, and we're going to, for every item in the users in the list that we've created, that is for every element in order, we're going to check if, so we're going to say if I in, okay, we're going to say if I in menu dot keys. So this is kind of like a collection of all the keys that are currently present in menu. So if I is present, hmm, what we now want to do is we don't want to access the key though, we just want to check if the key is present in menu, and if it is present we want to now access the value of that key. So we're going to say let's just get maybe h is going to be equal, so we'll just have variable to make our code look less congested. And I think the number dictionary is menu, so it's going to be a menu, and then it's going to be I, because I is what is the key, is what the key is. So it's going to be menu dot I, and then we're going to say sum. Is this still saved as an, okay, the stuff was adding and giving them the total as they were running. So let's move that code up. So as they are adding an element, it's giving them the total. Sometimes I don't even need to do all this extra stuff I did here. So instead, what we're going to say is, let's just get this. Let's comment this one out for now. And let's copy this. So we're going to change this from if I to item. If item is the menu dot keys, then menu h is going to be equals to menu items. Okay. Item, sorry. And we're going to, so first thing we want to, we'll ask the users for an input. The prompt was item, and then we're going to print their current total. So let's give them a prompt here for their input. Let's just tell them item, and then once they input their item, we're going to check if that item is currently in the dictionary we have above, and if it is, we're going to add the we're going to assign the value, that is the value, not the key, to H. Then we're going to add H to sum, and we're going to print. We're going to print. Let's put an F string here. We're going to print total is equals to. I think they say we should add the dollar sign. Yeah, we should add the dollar sign. So total is equals to dollar sign, and then we'll have our curly braces, and we're going to call sum. I think this should cover everything. Then if they press a control D, then it's just going to halt the whole program. This should be it. And the program is not now going to end until the user has pressed control D. So let's see. Let's run this code. Okay. Okay, so it printed. Okay, I didn't set. Sorry, I didn't set it to two. They said I should send it to two. This thing, two decimal space. So to use that, just you have your colon dot, and I think is it two F or be what? Let's try two F. Let's try two F. So let's end our code here first. Okay. So the first one is going to be natural. So now that I've added that to F, it should give us into decimal places. Okay. Now you can see it's still prompting us to pass in another item. Let's pass in taco. $14. Okay, let's take the taco again. Now we should be at $17. Perfect. Let's take the taco again, taking us to $20. And if we press Control D, our program should end. Or is it Control Z? I think it's Control Z. I don't even know. It should be one of these escape value. Control Z, Control C, Control D. I don't know which one your system uses. Maybe it depends on your OS. Honestly, I don't know. Okay. But yeah, that's basically the whole code for this one. So we're done with this. All right. Suppose that you're in the habit of making a list of items you need from the grocery store in a file called grocery.py. Embed a program that prompts the user for items one per line until the user inputs control. I think this control D is for I don't know. Then output the user's grocery list in all capital on all uppercase, sorted alphabetically by item, prefixing each line with the number of items. Because I don't understand, we will receive all their input. Okay, we're going to receive all their inputs first, and then we're going to now calculate. So it's not like the other one that we're adding as the putting. Right. So the first thing we're going to do is try and escape EOF error. Now things want to continue looping through the user's inputs. There's kind of like a similar code. It's actually more of the code I was writing before in the first place. What do you call it on grocery list? Similar to the code I was writing at first for that previous one. So let's just in. So while true, alright, so it's going to take an input from the user. So he said, remember we're gonna prompt the user for items until the user inputs control D, then outputs the user's grocery list in all uppercase, sorted alphabetically by item, prefixing each line with number of times. Okay, let's just turn it to all uppercase now. Before so let's just turn it to as the user's input is coming in, remove white spaces and turn it into uppercase. Then want to append it into this list. Oh shit. Okay, want to append it into the list. So we're going to okay. So want to output it in uppercase. Have a complete list which we're going to return. What else? Oh, um show how many show you how many times that particular item appeared in your list. So I think we're going to implement a dictionary. So let's just have a dictionary here. Let's just make it empty now also. Okay, so let me see what do we want to do. Let's have okay okay. So we have gotten our list now. So once this thing has finished, once the presses want to break, and once we are broken out of the program, we want to now get the list. So for I in list, so I think the first thing we want to do is get the word and find out how many times it appeared. So the first one I'm going to say for I in list, um actually I'm thinking of the right way to put this. Um okay, we're going to say maybe J is going to be equals to the name of our list is list dot we're going to count list dot count we want to count I, and then is going to we're going to, Jesus Christ, we're going to now add to that dictionary. So to do this, we're just going to say um oh shit, we're going to say um dict then we dot add. So I think should we put the let's put the this thing as the key and the other one as the value. So let's put yeah, then let's put I as the key and J as the value. So I is the name of the product and J is the amount of times the product occurred. Then let's now remove from our list. So I think this is going to remove it before the next loop, hopefully. So we'll check for every element that is present in I, then the key, and we'll have the value of like the amount of time the product occurred as the value. And then we're going to remove the element from I think for removal. We're going to remove that element. So that I'm going to dictionary should have an add method, but let me confirm that. Because I don't think you're supposed to be able to add to dictionaries though. But let me check. Okay, yeah, no, you don't have an add function. This is how you do it in dictionary. So it's going to be we're just going to call the function, and if the function doesn't exist, it's going to create it. So we said we want to set I as the key. I want to set JJ as the value. Yes, I think this should do it. So what was the data else to do? Okay, just to print it having the value first. We're coming now, we're looping through the dictionary. So we're going to say for let's maybe use something else just in case. For B in dict, I think that's what we called it. I think that's what we called it, right? Yes. We're now going to print. So we want to print it in a straight line. So the first thing we're printing is going to be we're going to print the value of whatever is inside B right now. And beside it, we're going to just print out the key itself. Hi, Ashley. Oh no, let's do this in a different way. Let's do this in a different way. We'll say for okay, let's try this. Let's try this. I'm crossing my fingers on this one. Oh, I didn't pass in any prompt. Okay, it is already running, so I didn't pass in any prompt. Let's pass in a prompt here. Let's just ask them to enter here. Alright, let's try run it again. We're going to enter tomato. Okay, another tomato. Carrots and another tomato. Then we're just going to exit the program. That's the error we're getting. Okay, still this dictionary that is giving us the issue again. Um, the thing is that I don't. How can you access? Let me see how you can access the key. If I can find a way to access like this key of the thing, then I'll just go back to reading before. Okay, so what this person did, the person put all the key and all the values because you can access every single individual keys. So the person put all the keys into a list, put all the values into a list. Okay, then he now got the index. Okay, let's do that. 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 So we're going to create a list for our values, which is going to be so this one is to collect all the keys present in our program. Then we'll do the same thing to collect all the values that are present in our program. Then we'll use their indexes to kind of like pair them. So say um for I in let's maybe use for I in values because values is what we want to print first. So we're going to say for I in values, maybe we'll just set something like so we want to get the index of this specific one that we're working on right now. So v dot index dot I. So we'll get the specific index for I, the value that is going to find that index inside the key value. So it's going to be so what we're now going to do is we're going to print um we're going to print I first, and then we're going to print the S. So let's try and hope this one works. Let's just cross our fingers and hope this one works. Is there anything I've not yet corrected? But let's try this again. So the first is going to be lettuce, then we're taking tomato, still gave us the same error. I don't understand. There's nothing wrong with the code now. Oh god. I give up. I give up. I forgot we're supposed to even sort the listings. Let's just sort that now and let's continue focusing on the dictionary. Um hmm. Oh sorry, I didn't enclose the key. But why am I even just only getting two? Why didn't it count? Why? One carrot, one lettuce, three tomato. I hate this program we just finished working on, honestly. I hate it. But Alicia, that's the code to that program. I think we have one more left. If that one is even just stressing me a little bit, so I'm just going to leave it. Yeah. And so I'm already seeing some in the monthly formatted in months, daytime, yeah, otherwise known as major Egypt. Dates in that format can easily be sorted because the date CS comes last instead of first. Try sorting, for instance. Okay, in a file called outdated.py, implement a program that prompts the user for a date in month, day, year, order, formatted like so. The first one be the month, then the day, then the year. Wherein the month is the latter, might wherein the month is the latter, might okay. Okay, nonsense. So if they impute a formula that is not okay, so they can impute both text and they can input both text and digits. And whatever the input, we're not supposed to now change it using this dash where we have I think the year first, then the month, then the date. Okay. I mean this one should be easy. Just alright, let's copy their dictionary first. This is even a list, it's not a dictionary. Alright, so let's create a new file. What are we calling it? Outdated. The outdated.py. Then using this stuff we just got from them, let's just save it as month. So just copy the list that we got from their official page. Then so we just want to continue looping, I guess, so that in case the input the user passes is incorrect, we'll be able to catch it. Then we'll maybe break out of the loop once it's true. Sorry, once I've got to that complete. I think it's about to ring. Everybody just left me very cold now. So let's get the input from the user. Now let's start catching all the errors. So remember what we implemented before when I called variables for each of these stuffs that we will be able to we'll be able to catch the just as we are receiving the input, we're just pushing them where they want to be. Remember they say the first thing should be month, then we should get the day, and then the year. So we're just going to get the user's input. Now I can easily just pass this stuff here and just but let's not do that. So I can get the user's input, which is going to be date, and we're going to split it. So now you know they say that they can either accept the normal one where you use that backslash, or they are going to be able to accept full text. So we're going to let's catch those ones for the backslash first. Then we'll now come back for the text. So the one we're working with the text that will now access using this list that they gave us. So we'll see what the index maybe it's going to be like index plus one of the current location of what it is inside here, because no list start at zero, that is first index, but I want to index it at the first one should be one, so it's just going to be zero plus one to get January. So but let's finish working with this number. So we are going to split it at the backslash. Now let's, so if I split it now successfully, like excluding this September on this text, if I split it correctly, then I expected to have integers, not floats, not any other thing. Integers. So we'll say we are going to just test. So if you run into try to run a text to an integer, it's obviously going to raise an error. And if it raises an error, then the program is going to handle the exception however it is set for it to. Alright, so now after I've like what I've done now, I've used this int to check to see if we're able to convert the string. But I also want to check to see if, because we only have 1 to 12, so you can either do greater than 1, or you can do greater than 0, less than 13. However you feel comfortable. So this is the first thing we're checking for. We also want to check for the day. That is, it should be within 1 and 31. So I'm enclosing them in brackets, so we know that the first condition we're running is for just these first two ones, and the next condition is for just this one. So if int day is greater than equals to 1 and int day is less than or equal to 31. Alright. So if the date is valid, we're going to break. But now under the second exception, so now you can have indented nested exception where if something is true, you can now try another a different exception. And you can just it's just kind of the way like if else was working. So just think of exception handling as you would work when you're working with normal if else statement.